Hi everyone, Emily Hay here, and in today's video I've prepared a message for you about how to get a logo for your small business. Now just to recap, over the last few weeks I've done posts on 4 fundamental steps that any business must take to create their foundation. 1 was naming your company. 2, getting a domain and setting up a professional email account. Step 3 was getting a phone number and mailing address, and then today's post is step 4, how to get a logo for your small business. So I have heard some small business owners say that my company is just too small to need a logo. Well, I really couldn't disagree more. Any company that has that professional image also has a professional visual representation of it. So since your small business is a direct result of your entrepreneurial efforts, don't ever think that what you have is good enough or that you don't need something because you're too small. So the process for getting a logo can be broken down into 2 parts. 1 is the creative work, and what I mean by the creative work is actually generating those ideas and those thoughts of what you want your logo to look like. And then the second part is the mechanical work. Now what I mean by mechanical is actually getting those ideas and concepts onto paper through some graphic design or artistic work. So with the creative, I must admit you have to be a little bit thoughtful in this area, and it's very similar to the thought you put into the first step of naming your business. So there are a few things that you can think about in order to generate some really creative ideas for what your logo should look like. One of them is simply, what is the nature of your business? So if you are a real estate investor, for example, let's say you focus on wholesaling residential property. Well, think about those words in separate areas. Wholesale. Wholesale, you think bargains, large quantities. Those sorts of words really get some ideas going in your mind and some visuals. Residential properties, an obvious but a good visual representation of residential is clearly a house. And then for properties, maybe have multiple homes, maybe have people in front of a house as part of your logo to imply a warm and residential type feel. So the second thing that you can think about when you start to generate some creative ideas for your logo is, what is the actual name of your business? Let's say you decided to name your business the Wholesale Property Shop. Well, again, looking at those words, think of a shop, and what are some images that come to mind? You think of convenience shopping, you think of shopping carts maybe, or a brown paper bag, thinking of shopping. And back to the idea of wholesale property, you can have multiple homes and maybe have the image bundle the homes together to show a bargain on a large quantity, and maybe have those homes in the shopping cart for the wholesale property shop, just as an idea. Now the third thing you want to think about to get some creative juices flowing is, what is the tone of your business, or what type of customers do you have? So if you work in a type of business that your customers are in distressed situations, then clearly the logo or the visual representation of your business is going to be far different than if you're selling to people in a leisurely atmosphere. So that's very important to think from the beginning, and even if you're a very new small business owner, think about the professional image you want to portray. So even if you're not drawing on a lot of experience of the type of customer, think of the type of customer you hope to attract. So as for the second part of creating a logo, the second bit of work, the mechanical work, I have some very firm recommendations for you in this area. I strongly recommend that you work with a graphic designer. Now I know that some people want to take on the challenge of designing their own logo, and I just don't think it's worth your time and energy and efforts unless you have that really intense artistic experience, or maybe you've been trained on some of the sophisticated graphics programs. Now I personally worked with a graphic designer on a logo project, and I made a couple of mistakes. One, I worked with someone that charged me hourly. And the second mistake I made was that I went into the project without knowing what kind of outcome I wanted. So what ended up happening was the project went about 4 times over budget that I had set aside for this. And it really wasn't the graphic designer's fault. It's that there was only one of her, and she simply couldn't generate enough ideas for something that I hadn't even had any expected outcomes for. So the time it took her to come up with more ideas and make edits to the concept she had put together, it was becoming very, very costly. So I kept getting this revised invoice with more and more money charging to me for this project. So that was a fundamental mistake. But since I am a proponent of you not spending more money than you have to, and I want you to be wiser than I was, there is one very important site and resource that I want to tell you about in this post today, that by far is one of the greatest online discoveries I've ever made. You might have heard of it, but it is called 99designs.com. 99designs.com is the #1 place to go for all of your graphic design needs. Whether you need a logo, whether you need a simple graphic for maybe a marketing piece, maybe you want a header for your blog design, 99designs.com is the place to go. What you do is you get multiple designers, concepts, professional designers, their artistic talents going into designing a logo for you, and it costs a fraction of what it does working with just one designer because you pay by the project, you don't pay hourly. So go to 99designs.com. It's a very simple process. You simply get an account with a username and password, and you'll go in and you'll launch a project. And I highly recommend you go with the bronze package, which is the least expensive option. And what you'll do is, I did select one upsell that you can have this project happen in 1, 2, 3 days. So if you're under a tight time frame, you don't have to wait the normal week to launch a project and manage it. So I opted for the bronze package. I went for the upsell on the 2-day project. And the next thing you'll do is go in and put a really great description of what you're trying to get, what you want your outcome to be. And that's where some of the ideas you thought about can be plugged in. Things we were talking about, the nature of your business and what kind of images you want to associate for your customers with your business. So you'll go in and you'll write a description about the project, and then just like an eBay auction or a classified ad, your project literally goes up in front of all of these graphic designers. So they'll go in and they'll start submitting concepts for you to evaluate. You'll start to get alerted via email that you can go in and there's concepts ready for your review. So the quicker you can get in and log in and check your concepts and provide feedback to the designers, maybe you want to make one little tweak, you just tell them. Or perhaps you want to completely eliminate a design. The more decisive you can be, the better your results will be. So it's actually a really fun process, and if you have friends or family members that you want someone's opinion, it's a very easy way to do that. So check out that site. Once you pick your winner, you'll go ahead and award them the prize, and then you will get your JPEG, EPS, PDF file of your selected logo. And I just suggest you also ask the designer that gets the prize to send you the black and white files as well. I'm sure it won't be a problem. But once you have that logo, put it to use. Put it right on your website, in your email signature, on the top of your letterhead, on any direct mail pieces. You want to continue to get people's minds associated with your great reputation, with that visual representation of your company. So the other thing I'd like for you to do, and last but not least, is let's have a little bit of logo love. So once you get this logo created, or maybe you already have one, go ahead and leave me a comment. Just paste your company's logo and write a quick couple of sentences about what you do. And I'd love for you to promote your business here on this blog post. So I hope this was helpful. If it's an idea that you can pass along to other people of how to get a logo for their business, please do. And I look forward to the logo love and seeing what you've come up with. So thanks everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.